All right, here we are. Lesson one. This is our little lesson on learning how to do some dexterity, get some dexterity in our fingers here. Mine are horrible too, so we're definitely learning this together. And this is our exercises that I just made up. But I can see other people do them too, I'm sure. But so it's don't need those anymore. That's better. So anyway, we're gonna do two things here with our left hand. Doesn't really matter. You can play this anywhere in the neck. I would start wherever it's the most comfortable for the width of your fingers. You know, it's definitely wider spread here than it is way up here. That's for sure. Anyway, find a spot in the neck that you want to start this with. You know, as you practice on your own and such, you'll want to just do that at different places on the neck, just so your fingers get used to the different spread. It's a great exercise for your hand. So in your left hand, that's what we're going to be doing, is just moving up the strings. With your right hand, we're going to do an alternate picking. So first note's going to be a down stroke, second note's going to be an up stroke, then a down stroke, then an up stroke. All right? Continually down, up, 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 as we move up the strings. And we're just going to go, it's a chromatic thing. It's not a scale by any means. It's just a chromatic exercise. It means nothing, but it gives you dexterity in your fingers, gives you strength and muscle memory. We're going to break this up. It's going to be very simple, but there's a million ways of playing the same thing. So you'll see what I mean. So what we're going to do is just go chromatically, 4 notes per string, 4 fingers per string, going from the low E all the way up to the high E and back down again. All right. So I want you to do this for like a minute. No, make that a minimum of a minute. Be done with it. You can move on to the next exercise. You don't want to bore yourself to death with this shit, but if you do it for a minute every day, believe me, it'll change how your fingers work. And it'll teach them how to get muscle memory in your brain to work with your guitar and become one, man. You got to become one with your instrument. Oh. Somebody on TikTok just liked one of my posts. Got a notification. Anyway, so the way it's going to go is I'm going to start here on the 5th fret for the fun of it. So it's going to be on the low E string. We're going to start in the 5th fret, downstroke, 1 fret up your next finger, upstroke, next fret up, downstroke, next fret up, upstroke. Now you've used all your fingers, down, up, down, up. Work it down. My guitar needs to set up. You hear that buzz? Oh well. So that's what you're going to do. But, so work your way up. Go to the next string. Same thing. Down, up, down, up. Next string, 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 down, up, down, up. Simple. But believe me, that'll get that pinky working. Man, mine's very weak too. Anyway, it'll get there. This will definitely help. So the way I would do it is I would go all the way up, just as we did that, and work yourself back down again. See, like I say, It's an exercise. The more I do that, pretty soon it'll be second nature. I can just do it whenever I want. And then you'll be able to get more speed with it, do it slower. Honestly, what you should probably do is download a metronome app, find a nice speed, and just for each click of the metronome, it's a different note. Click, 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 click. That'll build up. That'd be really good for you. You should really do that. Never thought of that. I'm going to start doing that. Definitely make you play on time better. You have a better sense of time if you do that. Just becomes second nature again. Santa Maria I checked out is in it's about 126 beats per minute. So when you go to learn Santa Maria, that's where you set your metronome, 126. And that being said, you might be better off setting it slower than that. I don't know, 110? I don't know, you kind of play with that. Then you're playing the whole song slower, which will make it a lot easier to change a chord from one chord to the next. And once you get that, you can speed it up, speed it up, speed it up until you get to the tempo of the song. That's a very good way of learning anything. Everybody learns all songs that way. Learn it, you're doing it at a slower speed till you get that muscle memory going. Then you can start playing it faster and faster up to the speed of the song. That was a tip. Anyway, that same set of 4 notes can be played in a million different ways. I would get that down fairly reasonable, and then you can start going, skip a fret, down, up, so down, so play that low E string on the 5th fret, then go to the 7th fret, and then go to your middle finger back down to the 6th fret, downstroke, and then upstroke on what would be the 5, 6, 7, 8th fret, I guess. So we're playing 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. See what I mean? Which is all these different variations you can do. And as you do that, if you keep playing that, you got to keep playing it over and over and over again. If I did that here for the next minute or two, then went on to a different variation of it for a minute or two, so a different variation of it for a minute or two, you'll build that up. You'll learn it. Your muscle will have this different muscle memory in your fingers. So when you start learning different chords and stuff, it helps your brain adapt to that learning of the guitar. Kind of, like I say, being one with your guitar. Kind of what it is. I think your brain kind of goes with that. Right? Anyway. So that's kind of, do that for, like I say, at least a minute every day. Just run up and down those notes anywhere in the neck. Different speeds. Right? Anyway, you know what I mean. Fuck around with that. Consider that the part. Every time we do a lesson here, that's the first thing you're going to do when you sit down with your guitar. Spend a minute doing that. It's not a lot. A minute. Have a timer and a metronome and a beer. Anyway, so second thing I wanted to go over in this video anyway is going to be learning the notes on the guitar. I know that sounds really boring, but as boring as it might be, I'm gonna have a little bit of a smoke. work still, does it? Should have had a tripod. Got one in the house, but I'm too fucking lazy. Anyway, so the reason you want to learn all the notes, well, only makes sense, doesn't it? But anyways, the way we're going to learn them is on these first two strings, and the reason for that, well, I can get very involved, but we won't get too involved with it. Basically, you're going to consider these root notes. Well, they're notes, but when you get to chords, they're root notes for chords. Okay? So, like, this is an A note. 5th fret on the low A string, that's an A note. So I can build an A chord out of that. Right? It's an A chord, A bar chord. See? Same chord. Why that's important is, in this particular case, as for a bar chord, that's the E-shaped bar chord. So I set that right down here, same as an E chord. I don't have chord charts. You can take a look on the internet for that. But that's an E chord, right? If I go to the 3rd fret, that's a G note. Okay? Bring it all up to there. It's now the same shape as an E chord with that G note. That's a G chord. See? So you learn these notes all the way up to that particular shape. You know every chord in any key just by knowing what this note is and this shape. It's a major shape, you know. It's a minor shape. Anyway, we'll get to that too. That's not what this lesson's about, but that's kind of why. One of the reasons why, plus you need to know your notes on the guitar. I don't, so I'm, again, learning this with you. I will be spending my time doing this too. Okay. So I will play them all for you as we go. On the 2 string, we're going to learn from the open string to the 12th fret. All right, all the notes on these 2 strings, the E string and the A string to the 12th fret. Why the 12th fret, you might say? Because it repeats after that. Open string on the E string, that's an E. On the 12th fret, it's an E also. 1 octave higher, but it's an E. All right, so anything we learn down here is repeated exactly the same from here. Bonus. All right. So on the E string, we're gonna, now I'm gonna say some sharps and flats when we do this. And whether I call it a sharp chord or a flat chord is the only reason I'm gonna say it the way I do is because that's the way you see them written most commonly with the most common keys that we would use in the music that we like, right? So that's why there's 12 notes also. All the way to 12th fret, 12 notes. Okay? So anyway, whether a chord is sharp or flat, it only matters in music notation because of the key you happen to be playing in. Because for example, this is an A bar chord, and A flat would be 1 half step down. Half step is 1 fret down. That's A flat. It's also G sharp. This is G. This is G sharp. I know that's really fucking confusing right now, but don't worry about it because it's really not that confusing. This is a long lesson for just to show you two things to do. Anyway, so what we're going to do here is I'll run up the E string and I'll tell you all the notes as they are. I'll tell you both ways on the sharp and the flat, I guess, but the first way I say it will be the most common way. So we've got an E. The first fret is F. So E, F. F sharp, which is also G flat. Okay, we'll go the common way. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Do it one more time. You can do it along with me. You got your guitar, right? You wouldn't be watching this if you didn't have your guitar in your hand, I hope. Okay, one more time. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E. Got it? Okay. On the A string, I might as well do that while we're at it. Again, they repeat. So you have between every fret is a half step. Okay, half step. Then you'll see two things. You'll see half steps, or you'll see whole steps, which is 2 frets up. That's a whole step. Half step, whole step, half step, whole step, right? Anyway, so if we were to leave out the sharps, flats out of the equation, you would just have your regular names, A, B, C, D, E, and F, and G. Okay? Now, some of those notes are half step from each other, and some of them are a whole step from each other. So when you're at a whole step, there's a middle note there it's missing. That's your sharp or your flat. Again, I know this is probably as confusing as fuck. Don't worry about it. It'll all come together as we go along with this stuff. But just remember, I'm going to do that E string again actually, and I'm going to show you which ones are sharp and flat, both of them all the way up, so you really know how that works. So it kind of makes more sense to you. It'll come. So E, and a half step up is an F. So those notes are only half step apart. E, F. Now to go to G, G is actually a whole step up from F, leaving that one in the middle, which is a sharp or a flat. Okay, so as a flat, it's going to be, if you want to call it as a flat, then it's the note, it's called, the note above it's flat. So that instead of G, it would be G flat. If you're going to call it from the note below it, it's an F, F sharp. So an F sharp and a G flat are the same note. I know. That's the way it is. So let's do it. E, F, F sharp, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat, A. Oh, somebody from Michigan's phoning me. Must be a scam. So A. I'm going to start again because that's fucked up now. I'm not sure how good these lessons really are. Okay, I'll show you this one all the way up. E, F, F sharp, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat, A. Did I do that right at the beginning? I think I might have fucked up the beginning. I'm not sure. So this part, I've edited this out. You'll still see it, but I've edited it out in my mind. So we're going to do it one more time. This is it. Final answer. This is already a 20-minute video to show you 2 minutes worth of practice. Okay, let's do it one more time. And I'll show you the E string right after. So E, F, F sharp, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D flat, D, D sharp, E flat. Then you start again 12th, E. The way you want to learn some of those also is keep track that you also have these markers up here. All right? So each one of those markers corresponds with your inlay. Or if you haven't got an inlay, that's where your inlay would be. All right? So typically, sometimes you'll see that it'll have an inlay and a marker here on the first fret, but nobody really gives a shit about that one. Most guitars will start off in the 3rd fret. So your inlay. Now keep in mind that those are kind of your markers, so you know where you're at. So you know when you're on that 3rd fret, that's a G note, because it's marked. That's your G. A is your next one that's marked. B is the next one that's marked. And oddly enough, C sharp. And you're starting at the E again, marking it, and you'll see there's the 2 empty frets where the G would go, 2 empty frets where the G would go. All right? Makes sense. Yeah, right, eh? Okay, makes sense to me. Hopefully it makes sense to you. Basically, all I really want you to do is just learn those notes. Learn where they are in the neck in relation to those markers. All right? I can see that marker. I know it's an A. I know I'm a C sharp. I know I'm an E. I'm a G. I don't need to see the guitar, man. I can sit back here. As long as I can see my nut markers up here, I know I got a B, I got an A, I got a G, I got another E up here. I also know, because that's an A, that's an A flat. Anyway. Very important, because it'll really help you out when it comes to keys. When you get into a position where, let's say you're out at somebody's campfire and they got an extra guitar and they want you to play with them. And they say, well, let's play a 1-4-5 in the key of A. That sounds foreign right now, but it'll make sense with knowing these notes. Somebody says they want to play a 1-4-5, which is a basic, very basic progression. A lot of blues are in that, a lot of countries in that, well, all countries in that. Anyway, that'll come on the next part of the lesson, but it's why it's very important. I know it sounds kind of boring, and it is kind of boring, but it won't take long for your memory to remember 12 fucking notes, right? Well, it's going to be 24 notes by the time we get the A string down, but there's still the same 12 notes, just starting on A. All right? So, this 5th fret, you got an A. You got an A sharp next. You got a B. Okay, starting on the A string, you got an A sharp, B. It's the same thing. And you just keep working your way up. You already know where the spaces are on this string. They're exactly the same on this. So if there's the whole step between the A and the B on this string. There's a whole step on the A and the B on this string, which is the open to 2. That's a whole step. Right? Same with a B to a C. So B to a C is right here, your 7th and 8th fret on the E string, side by side, B, C. Same here, B, C. So once you know I'm in here, it's just a continuation on this string, and a continuation on this string, and this one, and also the bottom one, which is our bonus string of the day. So I decided today, for today only, we're going to have bonus string of the day, and that's this string here, because it is also an E, same as this, 2 octaves up, I guess. Same note. Henceforth, these notes on this string are the exact same spot, same name as on the low E string. So instead of actually learning 2 strings today, you're learning 3 strings today, all the notes. So that's our lesson for today. Well, it's my video of the day. I think again, you only want to do this for a minute or 2 a day. Within a few days, you're gonna, or a week or whatever, you're gonna know all these notes on these 2 strings. Yeah, now in the lesson coming up here pretty cool soon, we're gonna do chord changes, right? So once you learn chord changes, I learn it as a bar chord. It's going to open everything up to you, because then you'll understand where the relation between chords is in different keys and how they're all relative the same up the neck. Again, probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but it will sooner or later. Anyway, I'm going to stop this video. Oh no, why stop this video? I guess you have to watch 2 videos on. This is going to be a long motherfucker. So anyways, practice that for a while. If you want, turn this off now. Practice for a minute. Or just rewind and follow me up that string. Let's do both strings just for the heck of it. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. There we go. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. I'm sure somewhere, actually what you should probably do is just write down exactly what I just said in that order for each string. So then you can look at that as you do each note. Or pull up a neck diagram on Google with all the notes on it and just look at those 2 strings from open to the 12th fret. Over and out, that part of the lesson is over. Just practice that for a bit. Like I said, do at least a minute of that and a minute of the first one. And now we're into part number 3. I'm going to show you a scale. Most basic scale out there is called a pentatonic scale. And actually, I'm going to put you in pause because I feel like having another smoke. This feels like this video has been going on and on just to